Hello and welcome to Win, Learn or Draw, a West Tigers podcast, because the Tigers never lose. They either win or they learn. And on Saturday, they taught the Dolphins 30 points to 18, and Mort's going to do his best to sum it up in 30 seconds or less.
A comfortable come-from-behind victory are about as rare as hen's teeth in the world of the West Tigers, and we did that on Saturday. A lame backline play from the Dolphins saw them draw first blood, while Tito Taruva answered quickly down the right wing. A few more crappy tries from the Dolphins, and we're down 18-6 just before halftime. It's all going poorly. The injection of TDS revved the Tigers right up as he closed the gap to a 6-point deficit going into halftime. Trailing 18-12, whatever Benji said at halftime worked. Captain Coruscant took the game by the scruff of the neck, beat the living daylights out of it, a second half shutout, 3 more Tigers tries, and locked in a 30-18 victory. All aboard the rocket to the top 4. Up the Tigers. How'd I go, Hammy?
47 seconds, but I'm going to allow it because that was a hell of a lesson.
Thanks, mate.
That we all learned, wasn't
Appreciate it. Do you know what's funny? I just added about 17 seconds worth of content just before we jumped on. So, lesson learned.
As I said, hey, we're all here to learn.
That's right.
But I will allow it because it was a hell of a win. And you touched on Appy Coruscant and the big play at the end there. And that is our Wokka Noodles Spicy Play of the Week.
And I can reveal exclusively here that Wokka Noodles are Australia's #1 wet noodle.
Yeah. Well, you know, what more do you need?
Can you believe that?
In
a competitive market of wet noodles,
when we were looking
#1
for a Spicy Player of the Week sponsor, we thought, who better? We're not going to go your second or third favourite wet noodle brand here in Australia. We're going straight to the best in the business.
Yep.
Wokka Noodles, there they are, 2005 jersey sponsors as well. Look, it was a hell of a play, wasn't it? Because everyone thought that he was setting up for the field goal, which would have taken the lead out to 7 with not long on the clock. But geez, he's crafty, isn't he? And the little cherry on top for me, or the spicy, the chili sauce on top of the wet noodle for me.
Yeah, the fried egg on
exactly.
top. Yep.
All of that on top was that the bloke that missed the tackle, we'll get to him later, was Tom Gilbert.
Yeah.
Who had a lot to say.
How do you like them apples, Tommy?
That's right. How do you like your fried egg? Poached or on your face? Because that's exactly what happened when Appy went through.
Yep.
It was just a hell of a performance, capped off with a deserved winner of the Wokka Noodles Spicy Play of the Week.
Absolutely. I think that play epitomised the Tigers at the moment and what they're all about. It's Appy's getting a bit of mojo back because he's got that ability to get a bit of crafty. You know, last year he was trying way too hard.
He was
tackling too much. He was tackling too hard. He was flipping blokes on their head. Whereas now it's almost like, all right, I feel a little bit relaxed. I can be myself as Appy Coruscant again and get crafty. And that just completely epitomised what the Tigers are about at the moment.
Yep.
And sent Tom Gilbert packing back to Brisbane, I can tell you that.
No, he did. Back to Redcliffe, which is where they were, but still sent him packing.
Well, we don't know. The Dolphins.
We'll send him wherever that might be. That's where he was sent. No, it was great. And, you know, the thing with the Tigers in the last couple of years is we've kind of got to that 65-minute mark and played pretty well, but then dropped off, you know? We've stopped playing footy at that point.
Yep.
Now, they look fitter across the board, and there's been great injections right through the roster.
Yep.
But for me, the big one, and you touched on him, Talon De Silva coming on at the end of the first half and giving Appy a little bit of a chop out and a little bit of a chop out in the second half as well, meant that Appy could be at his best when the whips are cracking at the end of the game to come up with a winning play. So that really balances the team out nicely.
It does. He and we'll touch on this a little bit later, but for me, he's one of the most improved players in that squad.
Yep.
We were talking about a couple episodes ago, the battle for that number 14, and Latu Fainu, you know, can cover a bit more, a few more positions within the team, but I think TDS has locked down that 14, and you're right. It just gives Appy that platform from 55, 60-minute onwards to just come in and do a few magic tricks and get us the win.
Exactly. And Jizzy's very similar to him. Obviously, I think one thing Talon De Silva's probably got to improve and will improve over the next few years, you know, playing alongside Appy Coruscant, is defence, and that will come along. But what he's great at is when there's tired bodies out there, he's got a really similar attacking style to Appy, like being able to capitalise on tired bodies, get the team going forward. Super impressive. I think he's locked down that number 14 jersey for, you know, at least the next couple of games.
100%. And I think now is a better time, or you know, the best possible time to tell people, anyone listening that's not a member, to become a member, because
what are you waiting for?
The rocket to the top 4 is well and truly on its way. It's time to jump aboard. It's not a bus anymore, mate. We've upgraded. We are going into the universe. Because the Tigers are, there's something different at the moment. Like there's an aura about the club, and if you're not a member, please sign up.
Yep.
Because it means so much to the club. You can get a 5-game flexi. You can catch any of the home games, any of the 5 home grounds as well.
You can break it up and do one of each game at one of our 5 different home grounds.
How good's that?
Yep.
So yeah, big drive to become a member. I think it's really important. Both Hammy and I still waiting for my pack, but
hashtag our jungle.
Our jungle.
Mine just rock. I must put the sticker on for next week's show. It's going on there. But hell of a pack. Got my personalised mug as well. Customised my own.
Wow.
My pack.
What did you write on it?
Just my name, Hammy Goodman.
That's
convenient
okay,
in case I lose it. Lost property makes it a much easier situation. But
and hopefully there's no other Hammy Goodmans that are West Tigers members.
Well, touch wood, you never know.
Yeah,
we have got a lot of members this year. You seen the little thermometer graphic that they've been kind of sending around? We're aiming for 15K. I think we're at about the 10K mark now. So let's get there. We
need to get to 20. I think
so.
20 is more the West Tigers ballpark, and that's where we need to get.
What I want to see is a new thermometer graphic emailed to the members before the end of the season. That's my goal this year.
Yeah, nice. Okay. Yep. Well, if that happens, we'll celebrate accordingly.
Absolutely.
Also, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, hit those notification buttons, all those good things. If you're listening on YouTube, on Spotify, jump over to YouTube, give it a like.
On Reeks, if you're listening on some Spotifys, we know that he likes to do.
Who's that? Moises
on Reeks.
Oh,
yeah. That's his preferred platform.
I'm sure he's a Tigers fan too.
Yeah, absolutely.
On the laptop, Spotify on the laptop, as you do.
Best way to do it.
Give us a 5-star, please. As we said, if you write something along with your 5-star review, we will read it out.
Yep.
But all of this means a lot. You'll hear Denon on the Bloke podcast talk about how important this is.
It is crucial stuff.
It genuinely is so important. So please give us a follow, a like.
It's been a theme at the club this year. We've been doing, dotting a lot of I's, crossing a lot of T's. Benji's been doing that in pre-season that the club probably hasn't in the past. So on this podcast, we're definitely going to do all that hygiene stuff every show.
We have to.
That's right.
It's part of our job.
And do it on the Apple one as well. The Spotify and the Apple. Go cross country for us.
Whatever you listen, whatever you're watching on, give us a like, give us a follow.
Yep.
You might have noticed.
Yeah, I did.
You might have noticed I had a little bit of time off. Obviously, I was away last week with a bit of winfluenza.
How are you feeling? Have you recovered, or you might have doubled down after the weekend?
I think that's my vaccine. I think I'm done. I can now have winfluenza and be able to perform afterwards.
Yep.
Because I've caught it again on Saturday after the Dolphins win, but I'm feeling about 95%, mate, if I'm honest. So I've bounced back. Cody, fantastic job last week.
How good? It was great.
Talon De Silva-esque.
Yeah, very much so. Just kept the energy up. Gave you a little bit of a chop out. But now you can come back and perform at your best. But great to test the squad depth. He was outstanding.
He was.
Thanks again to Cody on short notice for jumping on. But yeah, I thought he was excellent. He was super chuffed with the win as well. Sent me a few texts through the game on the weekend.
Good. It's good to see like these Tigers fans. Where it's like they're placed there. I bet there's one in the White House. Yep. That's what I mean. Like there's a Tigers fan everywhere.
Yep.
So if we can keep pulling in this squad, and making the Win, Learn or Draw podcast as global as possible, and we start with Cody and from Hello Sport, then so be it.
Certainly a lot of orange tan floating around in the White House. So
that's right.
Maybe the big fella is a Tigers fan.
Imagine if we wore a black and orange tie one time.
Yeah.
Confirmed.
Well, he didn't turn up to Vegas, but maybe he'd like to come and join us out of the 9th one of the world at Campbelltown, maybe as early as this weekend.
If we can't get him at Campbelltown, surely we can get him at Leichhardt. Yeah. But let's give it a go.
Well, we've got 5 home grounds, so he's got plenty of choice.
That's true.
Yep.
So mate, I had a bit of time off.
Yep.
Obviously being ill, you get a bit of time off work, you lay in bed a lot, you become a bit decrepit and you don't really look after yourself. But one thing that kind of came out of it is this goatee.
Yeah.
If you're watching, thank you. If you're watching, you'll notice that I've started growing a goatee. And this isn't for any particular reason except for the fact that I'm doing it for Galvin.
Yep.
So I'm growing this to make sure that the West Tigers know, that Lachlan Galvin knows that I stand with Galvin and I stand with the West Tigers, and this is a representation of my love for him and how much I want the Tigers to re-sign him.
Cody and I spoke last week about those were the lengths we were willing to go to. Obviously haven't put our money where our mouth is. Or maybe Cody has. Haven't seen him since last week. But good to see someone on the podcast really going that extra mile.
Yep.
Because Lockie, look, let's cut to the chase. He was tagged in the post last week and he liked the post.
And this is the thing, is this is what the media picked up on for him going to Parramatta.
Yep.
Was it someone commented, come home, Lockie, come back to Para.
Yep.
He liked that. And they're all like, the media's picked that as the storyline. So can't they do the same for what he did on our post?
Selective journalism. I think, it's been almost too quiet in regards to the post that he liked from this podcast last week.
Yeah.
But look, I think, once again, credit to you for, getting out there and going the extra mile with the goatee. So, Lockie, over to you. We'd love to have you on, hear from the horse's mouth. What would you like? What do you need from us in order to help you stay at the club?
We'll do anything.
Yeah. You're playing some great footy at the moment. Why would you want to leave this spine combo that's just...
His double pump on the weekend.
Outrageous.
Out that try out the right wing was so delicious.
Yep.
He needs to stay. We need to do whatever we can to get him to stay. And I think winning helps.
Teaching
helps.
Which is what we've been doing. So over to you, Lockie. Let us know in the comments or come on the show and tell us.
Yeah, just come on the show, Lock. Come on the show.
Yeah.
So obviously bedridden for about a week. A couple of things I noticed. Well, one big thing I've noticed actually, and we touched on it a second ago, but all the kind of sports publishers and broadcasters have completely changed their tune on the Tigers. Mm-hmm. It used to be a Tiger bashing for NRL 360, Fox Sports in general.
Tigers 360 there for a couple of
years. Tigers 360, 4 out of the top 5 articles on foxsports.com.au, Tigers.
Yep.
All bashing. Now it's completely flipped.
Yep.
It is become...
Tigers 180.
Tigers 180. Genuinely. A massive Tigers 180. We should start that show.
Yeah.
We kind of already have. But
already made the logo, unfortunately.
one thing I did notice, one thing that stuck out to me, Buzz Rothfield, right?
Mm-hmm. Friend of the show.
Come on. Bit of a Tiger basher. But just, one of the boys.
Yep.
Tiger basher. He tweeted after the Eels win, admittedly. Very happy for Benji and the West Tigers fans. Great win, albeit against a shit team. No offense, Para. But even...
He's got a point.
Even Buzz is on the Tiger train.
Plenty of room on board.
Yeah.
Get on board, as they say down at KO.
They do. Yeah. They do.
Never
no plug.
Yeah.
No plug.
No plug.
Free
Tigers games though. Sorry.
It was good to notice the changing of the tone. And I don't know, maybe a lesson, maybe if we learn next week after, they might flip again. But I feel like momentum's with us at the moment in the media.
Momentum is, we've got the wind at our back in terms of cracking into the top 16. I can almost, again, don't want to get ahead of myself. I believe we started 1 and 2 last year as well.
Well, we had a bye.
Yeah, we did.
We had the bye round 2.
Hard fought win against the bye.
And then we creamed Cronulla.
Yeah, we did.
And then
32-6, which was the same score that we had against the Eels the other day.
That's right.
But we followed it up with an impressive win this week. So
30 plus points 2 weeks in a row.
You know what as well?
Pretty impressive.
Best defense in the comp at the moment. We've conceded the least points.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
And Storm have played one less game than us, and they've still conceded more.
They've conceded more.
What? That speaks volumes,
enormous
mate.
Alarm bells if I'm a Melbourne Storm fan at this point of the season.
Oh, mate.
I mean, what's going on with the defence down there?
Everyone in the top 4 apart from us is kind of a phony.
What are they doing?
Yeah, I really reckon imposter, and then us in 4th, where we belong.
I mean, get your houses in order is what I would say.
Yes.
Because defence is a reflection of the attitude of the team.
100%.
And we've got a hell of an attitude. If you have a look at this, 34 points conceded across 3 games. I mean, do I need to draw you a diagram?
No, I don't think we do.
I'd be happy to, but...
Do you know what we should do? Get stuck into the set of 6.
Yeah,
what do you reckon? All right, so tackle 1. Wanted to call out a few unsung heroes for the West Tigers on Saturday night. Obviously, the big names get the big plaudits.
They do.
Luai, Galvin, May, they all get, rightfully so, they all performed really, really well. Taruva, 5 tries, 2 games. Obviously, his name's on the score sheet, but he does all the little things right, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He knows how to finish.
He does.
I feel like we've lacked a real finishing winger for a long, long time, and he just knows how to get to that try line. Obviously, 5 times in 2 weeks.
He does. I mean, if you had have told us a year or 2 ago that we were going to get a winger who'd score 5 tries in a season, we would have been, you would have told you, kidding yourself. 5 in 2 games, outright, and he knows how to celebrate too, doesn't he?
Oh,
and a couple of them, I will say, it looks like it's been choreographed a little bit, which I credit to him. They obviously know there's plenty of tries coming this year, because Appy had a similar one. Ripping the crest off the chest, and then bringing it home with the big tiger claw over the top. That is good gear.
It's WWES.
It is.
It is like
WWT.
West Tigers.
Yeah.
It is genuinely when you're celebrating tries with a motif, like constant celebrations of the same kind of ilk.
Yep.
That's confidence.
Yep.
That means you're doing well.
Yep.
Because if you're scoring enough tries to make it known that people are like, oh, they're going to do the Tiger Claw.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if you saw in the Para game too, when they debuted the Tiger Claw, they whipped it out at the end as well. And these two lads on TV, one gave a horns up.
Yep.
So like double pinky and index. The other guy gave it a point, actually. A point. So,
well, because, hey, we haven't had a lot of tries to celebrate in the last few years. So we're still coming to grips with it as a fan base. But I think we're starting to get the message that the claw is kind of the
claw is everything.
It is.
I think it's a it symbolizes the success we're having. So
get out claw. That's one get out clause we can actually get around.
Oh, nice.
We've been burned by a few in the past.
Yeah. Nice. Dewey kicking like Jonathan Thurston. Yeah. What's going on there?
Big right to left. Unbelievable. And when you're a side that you're going to have to grind out a lot of wins. You probably won't blow heaps of teams away. You do need a good goal kicker.
Yeah.
So he's been incredible to start the season. And also, hats off to Dewey. Moving from the centres out to the wing, just like the versatility that this guy has and his ability to just slot into different positions and excel.
Yep.
That is such a luxury to have in the team. We're so lucky because obviously Skelton went down and it looks like it's only minor, maybe 1 or 2 weeks, which is fantastic news about the hamstring because he's been so good for us so far on the other wing.
Yep.
Dewey, I mean, unbelievable. What a start to the year he's had.
He's had a great start. He's just another one of those solid players, doing all the little things right. The goal-kicking element of rugby league is probably understated in a lot of ways. A goal is worth half the amount of points that a try is.
Correct.
So it's super important. And when you're down 18-16 and you're kicking from the right-hand touchline with a right-footed kicker and he can hit the crossbar or the upright and go in, that momentum there, if he missed that, you might be a bit deflated.
Yes.
Oh, we're down by 2.
Correct.
18 all, he's done his job. I'm very happy with Dewey and the goal. There was a question mark over whether it'd be him or Appy kicking at the start of the season, but he has cemented not only his spot in the 17, but his spot as the team's kicker as well.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I want to shout out a couple of guys in the JFTA Petrochemical Services engine room.
Oh, who
I thought excelled. Another shout out to one of our great sponsors of years gone by. Alex Twal is the one I want to start with.
Yep.
Outrageous. He's in great nick as well, which we'll get to a little bit later. But just the way that he is, he looks like he's a little bit lighter than he has been in previous years. So he's got a bit more mobility, which I think speaks to the attitude of the whole squad and how fit they've all got.
Yep.
But using him at lock, he's running the ball so hard. He's not missing like any tackles.
Yep.
And there's been a few instances, even in this game, where he's almost scored a couple of meat pies. He'll take the play before, and then off the back of the next play, we score.
Yeah, that run where he put a little right foot step on, he popped the ball over to Luai. Luai unfortunately dropped it when Gilbert gave him a little rub on the noggin. But his mobility has improved out of sight. Even his ball playing, he feels like he's now one of those linking locks that we lacked for so long because we had 3 middles just going bang, bang, bang.
Yep.
Now he's I don't know. He's improved out of sight. He always had potential too, Charlie.
Absolutely. And he's always been like the heart and soul of the club. Like the boys love him. The crowd loves him. Great to see him going well. Fanua Pole, another one I want to touch on. He was moving like Payne Haas.
He impressed me more than anyone in that game.
200 metres he ran for. Outrageous. 90 post-contact metres. And just the crafty footwork to beat guys in the middle of the field.
I don't know if you remember, Hammy, 2005, but one of the things
I remember well.
Do you remember it?
Yeah.
We won the comp that year. And one of the things that set us apart were fleet-footed forwards.
Yes.
Forwards that could pass, Toddy Payton, Scando, those kind of guys. That's what Bryce Gibbs, that's what set us apart from other teams, and then other teams caught up and blah, blah, blah. It's now we've taken it another step, I feel. These forward, like Pole and May, they could play back row. They could play centre.
Yeah.
They're that fit, they're that fleet-footed, and they're that mobile and skillful. It's great to see.
No, these guys are in the JFTA Petrochemical Services engine room, absolutely killing it. Terrell May, I mean, it's basically just Control-C, Control-V every week for this guy, 190-odd metres, a couple of offloads, not missing any tackles. What a signing. 42 tackles, 1 missed on the weekend in the middle.
And he was relatively quiet, really.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't spoken about as much as he was in round 1 or 2, but he still, stat-wise, lays that foundation for the entire team.
Which we love. And look, hey, the whole pack was excellent.
I was going to say, special mention to the Say-Barge. We got to say the Say-Barge.
Get it trending. Thomas told us that on the Raw Emotion hotline, which we'll be getting to later as well last week. Right. All aboard the Say-Barge. That's been fantastic.
Samuela Finu, solid player.
Now, when they got down the Dolphins end, and it was an important part of the game, great kick chase, kept him down there. And then he came in and absolutely boshed Bostock and knocked the ball out.
Oh, yes. I remember the
Probably the
exact
biggest hit
moment.
of the game on.
Yep.
And then we scored off the next play.
Yeah, okay.
To hit the lead.
Yep.
Big moment.
Yep.
Just the pack were outstanding.
Another big moment with Bostock, Lachlan Galvin pushing him in the chest.
Yep.
Galvin's here. He's
mongrel.
arrived. He is having a bit of mongrel.
Which I love.
Let's move on to tackle 2
Yep.
and go outside those unsung heroes to more unsung heroes, the bench players.
Yep.
The rotation that Benji's got going is obviously working super well. We've been kind of sloppy in the opening 20 minutes the past 2 games. And now this these bench impact players that are coming on. We've mentioned Talon De Silva. I've been super impressed with Jack Bird.
Bird is the word.
Bird. Sorry.
Sorry.
He is becoming, I don't know, they've almost created a new role for him
Yep.
that he's never really played before, where he's coming on and he's taken some hard runs. His run before the Silva try was what set that try up.
Yep.
Got through a couple of defenders, landed on his knees and his elbows, got up, played the ball quickly, and De Silva dives over.
Yep.
That paired with his versatility, he went out to centre when Skelton got injured,
Yes.
alongside Dewey. The man has been an incredible signing.
Yeah.
What do you reckon? Like, you happy with him?
He's been excellent. And I think, he's been at a few clubs, but now that he's at the Tigers, I say it's time for Bird to spread his wings. And that's what he did on the weekend. Again, he's one of these guys that you can plug into so many different scenarios. And that's why he's a good signing, because when things happen or a player goes down in a game, we're lucky now we've got a couple Dewey we touched on before. But, Jack Bird can play through the middle. He can go to 13. He can, if a half goes down, he could probably go into number 6.
For sure.
He's been super impressive, but the way that they've been using him is just like a really hard running kind of get out there when the stings come out of the game a little bit. That's how he started off, and as you mentioned, the Talon De Silva try came off the back of that, and then moved to centre when things got shaken up a little bit. Bird spreading his wings, you love to see it. Bird's the word, and he started the season really, really well.
Looking forward to some more Bird quips.
More aviary sort of content
Yeah.
on the show.
Yep. I'm looking forward to
any
those.
sort of aviary stuff. Leave it in the comments. We will,
We've got some pretty creative followers and fans at the moment of the potty
really
as well. Yeah.
Guys, really good work. Keep it up.
Yeah, keep it up.
The squad depth extends to you guys, commenting on the YouTube, the Spotify and so forth. Keep up the great work. There's been plenty to borrow from, and we'll hear more from it on the Raw Emotion hotline a bit later.
Definitely. And speaking of raw emotion, there was a little bit of a sad moment for tackle 3 on Saturday with Jarrell Skelton hobbling off.
Yeah, sorry to bring the mood down, but we've got to touch on these things in the set of 6.
But what it gives us is an opportunity to talk about the squad depth and some of the wingers that can come in, right? So he's done his Hammy, bad man.
Yep.
That's I
Nice.
stole that off my mate, Ken.
That's good.
Because you're Hammy good man.
Yep.
Do you get it?
I can see what you've done there.
Yeah, okay,
A
cool.
little bit of light and shade on the show,
Yeah. So Hammy, bad man. Which is fine, like you said, 2-3 weeks maybe, and he's a power player. There's going to be injuries. It's just the nature of the beast.
Yep.
But we have maybe a Luke Laulili, maybe a Forbes Ferrari coming in on that left
He's been
wing.
killing it at fullback in the.
He's a talent, mate. And do you know what? I was thinking on the way over here. Hopefully, he catches that Penrith contagious winning bug that's obviously been brought to the Tigers.
Yep.
Because maybe for a couple of years, the Ferrari wasn't really kind of performing as what we might have liked. But now with Luai and Appy and Taruva.
Well, the Ferrari's probably left in a garage that was like, needed to be done up a bit.
Yeah,
It was sort of left out in the rain a little bit.
Yeah.
You need to
Just with the cover on it.
Yeah, that's right. Just with the tarp over the top of it.
The tarp,
Now, with state-of-the-art garage that we've assembled in the off-season, now the Ferrari can really get into its work.
Yep.
If and when we take it out for a spin.
I think we might. What do you reckon?
It's had a bit of track work in New South Wales Cup, and the reports have been good.
Yeah.
Bit of a role change.
Yeah.
A bit more hands on the footy, which we love.
Yep. He seems like a confidence player.
Absolutely.
Like if he's up and about, I feel like he'd do good things.
He's good. Well, look when he debuted for Penrith all those years ago. 4 tries on debut.
Yeah, not bad.
There's a footballer there. So
Jordan Atkins level. Remember
Exactly.
Jordan? Yeah, Jordan.
I do.
Yeah.
Remember him well.
Yeah.
So if we get the Forbes Ferrari out there again, I think it's set up for better success.
Is that who?
Tank of petrol.
That who you're picking? Are you going Fartape or?
I'm a big. I love both the Lualii brothers, but it feels like it's probably going to be him.
Yep.
The Forbes Ferrari. Alex Lobb also been killing it in reserve grade as well.
That's true.
But
Tall timber.
Exactly. I feel like I feel like it's probably Staines, without knowing exactly. And he'd be on that left wing, so probably opposite Tane to a Picky, so probably a pretty similar size. Last time I probably saw the Forbes Ferrari playing the Fletcher. He was up against Mike Acevo, a bit of a size mismatch there, but these two guys are quite, potentially it's a good, a better matchup.
Yeah, gotcha.
Anyway, let's see what happens, but I think, we've got a couple of options there is the point.
And that's the great thing.
Yeah.
Even shifting around who's in the back line. And I don't think Benji will want to change much, so I reckon he'll slot someone straight into that left wing. I mean, even so, we've been going down the right a fair bit. So
we have.
Joel Sugar Kane said, you don't want to be a West Tigers left winger, but
Now that Galvin's floating on that right a little bit, it's been great time to be on both wings for the Tigers.
Exactly right.
Yep.
Okay, tackle 4.
Yep.
Win, learn, or draw in the media.
Yeah.
We're getting a bit of coverage.
No, we are getting some coverage, and thank you for the coverage. We got in fact, the John's Family podcast, one of their episodes was called "You Don't Lose, You Either Win or You Learn."
Wow.
And Cooper did. He didn't specifically call out this show, but he did kind of mention, that's something that I've been saying about the Tigers. So it's at least it's getting people warmer, hopefully.
So the John's Family podcast is Matty, Trish, Cooper, and Jack.
Yes,
and they talk about everything.
Yeah, they talk about a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Okay,
a lot of topics.
So they could speak about anything in the world, and they chose to mention win, learn, or draw.
That was the ball. Ball was in their court, and that's what they did with it. So thank you for the airtime.
Thanks for the Johns Family for the shout out. Appreciate it.
Go and check him out if you haven't heard of the Johns Family.
You might have heard of him.
They're well worth a listen.
Uncle Andrew, does he get on the show? Uncle Andrew?
No, not at the moment. Not this season anyway.
Okay, well, maybe in the future.
Stay tuned. Maybe he will by the end of the year.
Or in this show.
Joey, if you'd love to come on.
Joey, if you're listening.
I'm sure we could make something work. He's encouraged Lachlan Galvin to stay a few times before, so maybe we need to give someone another platform to do that.
If you're coming on though, please make sure you have a goatee.
Yep.
Because
that's something we will not budge on.
Yeah. So, if you walk in these doors without a goatee, see you later,
you can
Joey.
Walk straight back out. Abe Simpson style.
Second mention, all thanks to Cody being on last week. But Tom and Eddie and Hello Sport Boys gave us a really nice little mention. Tom admittedly said he's not going to listen because he's not a Tigers fan. But can I encourage you, Tom, if you are listening, to keep listening?
Yep.
Because we cover lots of things. 99%'s Tigers.
It's mostly Tigers,
but we do go outside that realm every now and then.
That's right. Thank you to the boys there for letting Cody come and join us, who was fantastic. And, I'm sure we'll interact with Cody a bit more over the course of the season.
For sure.
For giving us a shout out. We're very appreciative of it. Obviously, you guys got a big platform as well. If you'd like to shave goatees in just to raise a bit of awareness for Lachie Galvin to stay at the Tigers as well, wouldn't say no if they want to get on board.
Burmo would look really good with a goatee.
He would, wouldn't he? He's got a healthy...
Yeah. They've been calling themselves DILFs, so nothing says DILF like
Prove
goatee.
it and grow a goatee. And they're talking about being follically gifted, which they are.
They are.
They are follically gifted.
I can't really say that, but if it's just a goatee, then...
Absolutely. Over to you boys. But look, whether or not you grow a goatee, thanks again for the kind words.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks to the Hello Sport Boys. That was a very handy shout out. And then finally...
and also, you need to get yourself some Good Days, some of their multivitamin that they sell, because I have it every day and I don't get sick. You went down with winfluenza.
So could knock back winfluenza as well, you reckon?
Well, I think, it's just, the sickness kind of just, it just kind of bounces off you a bit more. You can get about your work a bit more.
Okay,
anyway,
all right. Maybe I'll go down the Good Day Hill. I think they sponsor the hill at Brookie.
We actually got a 6 p.m. game there in the middle of the season, so maybe we can have a couple of good days down there.
That'd be good.
Not mad, but go and have some.
Kind of.
It's good.
Kind of.
Yep.
And then finally, this was in the media, I don't know, many, many decades ago, but Nelson Mandela actually foresaw this show coming.
Yeah.
And there are rumours that he started the quote, "I don't lose, I either win or I learn."
Really?
So, Nelson, if you're listening.
The late Nelson.
Please, if you're listening from wherever you are, please come on the show and just make sure that I'm telling the truth here, because I've done a bit of research. There's no firm facts that say that, but he is linked to it.
Yep.
We're going international just as we thought.
Love that.
Yeah.
That's great. He was full of those kind of very meaningful kind of turns of phrase, wasn't he? So wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if that was something that he'd said, but
I don't know if it was a plug or not.
Potentially.
decades in the past, but yeah, it could have been.
Yeah, very proactive plug if it was.
Thanks
for
Nelson.
that, Nelson. Yep.
Okay, tackle 5, most important tackle of the set, as we know.
We'll save the best one for here.
What do you reckon about Tom Gilbert?
Said it earlier in the show. I'm going to say it again because it might clip up better in this part of the show. How do you like your eggs? Fried, poached, or on your face, Tom Gilbert? Had plenty to say to Jerome Luai when there was a little handling error there.
Yeah.
Off an offload from Alex Twal. Right up in his face, giving him a little noogie, rubbing his head in it, all that sort of stuff.
I believe we were behind at the time as well.
Yeah, we were.
So a little bit of Queenslander bravado, like in front.
Downhill skiing, as they sort of call it in the
Yeah,
business.
punching down, rubbing a halfback's head when you're a lock.
Yep.
Oh, I don't know about that, man.
There was a bit of that, and there was a bit of, I think when Bostock and Galvin got into it, he kind of came in and tried to throw himself around a little bit there as well.
Because he's skipper.
Yeah.
So he's leading from a niggly front, is he? Yeah, come on.
I mean, you're playing with fire there, and then Appy Coruscant obviously, shaped up for a field goal. You got to be aware of that sort of thing, Tom. Because then he turned you around a couple of times, and you went for a try, locked the game up, and that's all she wrote.
It's funny that you had the guts to rub Luai's head and then have his partner in crime snap your ankles.
Yeah.
With 4.5 minutes to go in the game for you to ultimately lose the game, end up 0-3, and the Tigers walk away with a 12-point victory.
Yeah. Wishing you a speedy recovery on the broken ankles from Appy as well.
Yeah. What is it, 6 to 8 weeks? I'm so sorry to hear it. But yeah, congrats, Tom Gilbert. You're our egg on the face winner this week.
Yeah.
Pace Farm eggs.
Pace Farm eggs. Hey, Pace Farm. Slide into those DMs, baby, because we love to get some sponsorship dollars out of you. Or any egg brand for that, mate.
Any egg brand.
Yeah.
As long as they're number one.
As long as you're number one. Yeah, that's right.
Right, and tackle 6, finally. This deserves its own tackle.
It does, yeah.
Twaley's rig.
Speaking of tackle, Alex Twal's rig. Now, this bloke is... Has there been a more jacked bloke in the history of the West Tigers as Alex Twal is right now?
No.
Now, it's reflecting in the way that he's playing. He's looking fitter. He's running quicker. He's staying on the field for longer. I mean, he's never missed that many tackles, so he's still doing that role really well. But my word, post-game, go to the West Tigers Instagram page if you haven't already. He leads the team song with the rig out, waxed to within an inch of its life as well. No wonder they couldn't tackle him, so slippery. Slippery Twal. Slippery Twal, they're calling him down at Concord.
Are they?
Well, they should be after what I saw.
They might now.
He is absolutely jacked. What are you eating? What eggs are you eating? Get them to sponsor the show.
Yeah, I saw him scraping it off Gilbert's face so he could eat it. Get the protein. How good.
Of those cheese grater abs as well.
I watched the game with a couple of mates down in Bondi Junction at the Lord Nelson.
Yep.
Few Tigers fans there as well. They're everywhere. There's a couple of people cheering. I don't know if they're
coming out of the woodwork this year.
Coming out of the woodwork down the Bondi Junction. Maybe transferred from Roosters fans.
Yep.
Maybe came with Terrell May.
Yeah, welcome
like
guys.
a LeBron James, Cavs to Lakers kind of move, like the fan base.
Badly treated by their club, just like Terrell did. And they wanted to come to a more welcoming club that's on an upward trajectory.
Enjoyed a couple of schooners with a couple of mates just to knock off the winfluenza cobwebs.
Yeah, well, got to stay hydrated.
Exactly. Got home.
West Tigers bitter?
No, they don't sell it yet. I'm sure they will. And I got home and I jumped on Instagram. My wife was at home and we watched the video and she was like, who is that?
Yep.
Twaley's rig front and center. Yep. She was like, he is half man, half machine.
Yeah.
He is godlike in his appearance.
He is.
And the way he plays as well. He's been nothing short of amazing for years as well. I remember a couple of years ago, there was a preseason picture of him with his arm. He was wearing a singlet at training and they were like the size of tree trunks. So keep up the good work, Twaley. We are a big fan of yours.
He's the complete package, and that extends to his package based on the footage the other day.
Thanks, Hammy. All right.
He's going about his business very well, Twaley, and playing some great footy as well.
Correct. Yep. Correct. So keep it up, Twaley.
Yep.
Mate, let's move on.
Bit of nostalgia.
Yes.
I mean, we've enjoyed a great win over the weekend, but it's always, as we say on the show, it's great to reflect, isn't it? A little trip down memory lane.
It's funny because one of the things we wanted to position in this podcast was a bit of nostalgia and think of the good times. Or think of the times that might make you happy.
We're living in them, baby.
We're living in it.
Yeah.
I honestly thought, this will at least give us a smile on our face, maybe if we have a couple of lessons. But considering we're teaching.
Yep.
This segment, it's great, but it's not absolutely necessary like we thought it might have been. So
we'll still do it anyway.
Oh, 100%.
Because you've prepared it anyway.
So I have
prepared.
Thanks.
So not do it.
So what I wanted to talk about today was the top 05 players you might have forgotten played for the West Tigers.
Okay. Nice.
So
Little flash in the pan.
Little flash in the pan. Players that are pretty well known that once wore a West Tigers jersey in the NRL.
Yep.
So not juniors,
Yep.
ones not like the Ryan Pappenhausen-esque,
Yeah, okay.
as in like they actually played in the NRL for
Yep.
us.
Here for a good time, not a long time. Sort of
Well,
stuff
definitely.
from
The
these guys.
top player was 3 games.
Great.
So
Love it.
number 1,
Yep.
and you probably will remember this because it was pretty well documented, and he did play in our Toyota Cup team. Nathan Brown.
Yeah, back fence Brown.
So the hard running off the back fence Italian rep has played 170 NRL games, but only 1 game at the West Tigers.
One game.
1 game in 2013. What the funny thing here is that he debuted in Brooksy's debut game.
Wow.
So he was also part of that compensation where the Tigers had
Yes.
they spent all their second tier salary cap. They couldn't make the 8, and the NRL said, "Yeah, okay, you can blood a couple of players outside your top 30."
Yep.
So Brooksy and Nathan Brown were the 2.
If memory serves, that was at the SCG in the West's Magpies Heritage Kit.
Correct. I was there.
And Brooksy went on a tear.
Brooksy went
Probably
on an
had his best
absolute
game for the club, to be honest with you. in
He's
his
definitely.
debut.
That was when the next Joey
Yeah.
chat was about.
Yeah.
I don't know. Nathan Brown might have been the next Webke at
Yeah.
the time because
The next
we
John
won that.
Scandalis. What
Next
could have been?
Scando.
If you had have stuck around.
We won that game comfortably, and
Yep.
that was Nathan Brown's one and only game for the West Tigers.
That's just wanting more.
Yeah, he's since played obviously for Para, for Manly,
Chookies.
been around the block a fair bit. So
New South Wales he played for as well.
he did too.
Yeah.
Back fence Brown.
Another one that got away, hey?
Yeah, I mean, those squads that they compile of all the Tigers that they've let go. Yeah, I bet you'd be in there. Number 2, I don't know if you remember this bloke, but he was a bit of a cult figure amongst me and my mates. David Gower.
Yep.
He played
Just
for
having a David Gower.
not the cricketer.
Yeah.
He played for Salford City Reds
Yep.
in the Super League. That's where he debuted. So he's from Ryde, but he played for Salford City Reds in 2006, 2007. Much like me, he then had a gap year in 2008.
Oh, yeah.
I delivered pizzas for Domino's. I'm not sure what David did. But he then debuted for the Tigers in 2009. So that was his NRL debut.
Yep.
He ended up playing 121 games, so 101 for the Parramatta Eels, but 1 game for the Tigers. I would have never remembered. I remember him distinctly, but not that he played any rep footy or anything.
Yep.
But I don't remember him in a Tigers jersey.
I remember him best for his being used as rhyming slang for a shower. That's what I'll always remember him for. David, you'll always have a special place in my heart.
Friend of the show,
and
for
a
sure.
great West Tigers player.
Number 3, Jeff Lima.
Yep. Yes. Yes.
Debuted for the West Tigers in 2004.
Yep.
Again, took a gap year in 2005. Dominoes, maybe. Ended up playing 3 grand finals in a row for Melbourne.
Yeah.
So he signed with Melbourne in 2006, only played 1 game, but he played 3 grand finals, 2007, 2008, 2009, winning 2. Asterisk.
Yep.
Ended up playing 127 NRL games, 6 games for the Kiwis, but then in those 127 NRL games, 10 tries, 1 goal.
Jeffrey.
I don't know why or how.
Was that for the Tigers? Or?
He scored a try for the Tigers.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a 50% winning record, which is pretty good.
Good man. Well, now, in 2005, I had a calendar that I got at a Leichhardt game.
Yep.
It was of the whole squad, and it was at the previous year's awards night.
Yep.
And they were all dressed in black tie sort of stuff with their jackets kind of
Oh
hanging
my
over
God,
their
I think
shoulders.
I have the same poster.
And it says "License to Thrill."
Yes,
on it.
I
Yeah.
definitely do.
So Jeff Lima was in that one.
James Bond-esque.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've still got it in a box at home
Oh,
somewhere.
if we could dig that
License to Thrill. And I
Right.
always just look at that and go, did Jeff Lima play for the Tigers?
Well, there you go. He did.
He did, confirmed.
2 games.
And he
2
had the
games.
license to thrill. And what a year to thrill, 05.
He didn't
We
get a
lived up to
game
the
in
pro stuff,
05.
didn't we? No, he didn't, but the squad at large.
True. Number 4, Jason Kalis.
Yes.
So very failed stint after he played for Para. He played, again, 3 grand finals in a row for the Sydney Roosters. Won 1 of them. Lost the next 2. A long stint in the Super League for St Helens. And everyone knows you sign a player after a stint in the Super League.
Absolutely.
NRL,
Best time
Super
to
League,
sign 'em.
NRL. That's the natural progression.
Yep.
So they signed him for 2 years, 2010, 2011. He played 3 games and then went, that's it. I've had enough.
3 of his best.
3 of his best. So thanks for the good times, Jason.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service.
One of the
You'll
better
always-
Kalis brothers.
You'll always be a Tiger.
Always be a Tiger. He'll have a number. I'm not sure what it is, but West Tiger number. Yeah, I'm sure he's got claws. Yeah.
Jace, if you're watching, that one was for you.
And Finally.
Well, this will be good. 'cause
Number 05.
They've been nice and niche up to this point.
Trent Robinson.
Trent Robinson.
Roosters
Robbo.
coach.
Mate, we taught him all there is to know.
Is a West Tigers player. He played 3 games from the bench in 2000 and 2001. 3 games across 2 years. Not a high frequency, but nonetheless.
Yep.
A St. Greg's product as well.
Yes,
So
which we love.
now here's the catch. He was the first player to ever make his first grade debut with the West Tigers.
Okay.
So no one had ever not played footy previously. Yep. So he is the first ever player to debut for the West Tigers.
Wow.
And he's gone on to pretty great things. The Eels signed him. He didn't get a game.
Yep.
And then he went to France, played a bit more rugby
Trade
league,
again. Yep.
and has become a pretty successful coach. But will always be remembered for 2 things. 1, being the first ever West Tigers debutant, and 2, letting Terrell May go. You goose.
You've been a great servant to the club, Robbo. Thanks for your work, brother.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Maybe it was a little bit of a retribution from back in the day.
Love it.
Or could be a bit of Pace Farm egg on his face. Who knows? Who knows? But that's the top 05 for this week.
Love it. That's a solid top 05.
Yeah.
They've been. I've enjoyed these so far. One of the favourite segments of the show. If you've got something obscure about the West Tigers that you want counted down from 1 to 05, let us know in the comments.
Yep.
It's a long season. We'll get to as many as we can. But great work, mate.
Thanks, mate.
You've been productive with your winfluenza break.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you can't leave your bed. You go through West Tigers players that are you never thought West Tigers players. Some of the suggestions for or some of the thought starters for next week, we were thinking best debuts for the West Tigers, the best jerseys we've ever had. So if you've got some suggestions, please chuck them in the comments, and we'll try our best to get through them because, it's a good segment. It's a bloody good segment. Speaking of good segments, do you want to go to?
Let's roll straight into it.
Do you want to go to
Raw Emotion? Now, if you're new to the show, that's spelled ROAR, so it's a. What is
Sorry, could I get that again?
ROAR.
Oh, so not RAW.
No, far
which is the traditional way to spell it.
The traditional way to spell it. What it is,
So why ROAR?
Morty, it's a clever double entendre is what we're doing there. What it does is it links the raw emotion that fans experience back to the club, the Tigers, and the moniker of the club.
Because they roar.
Because they roar.
I'm starting to get it.
So that's how it sort of works. We've done this in the past where we've kind of skimmed through some comments on some pages, but what I'm loving more now is the interaction that we're getting from the fans. Straight after the game, we want to hear from you. Send a voice note on Instagram to Win, Learn or Draw Pod. If you can't get through straight away, complain to us that you can't send one yet. We'll accept you and you can fire away. We've had some great ones come through this week.
I haven't heard any of these, so I'm very
I haven't heard any. Good.
No, ready to listen.
All right. In no particular order, we're going to kick off with this one comes in from Zachary James.
Nice.
All right.
Hi,
Here's the
Zach.
first one. Oh.
Or Zachary, whatever you go by.
Mate, I'm here out in the middle of Newtown wearing my Tigers jersey. Someone come up to me straight away and says to me, mate, book your finals tickets, here come the Tigers, mate. We're teaching lessons left, right and centre, baby. It's going to keep going. I'm a happy camper. Happy New Year. Happy West Tigers. Let's go. Coruscant, he's the man.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I like it.
That's very good from Zachary Hammers. Might be Hammers or James.
Yep.
That's brilliant. You can tell that he's got the Newtown slur going there, the West Tigers bit of slur, which is kind of exactly the clientele we want straight after the game. The emotion's still running high. I think he absolutely nailed that, by the way. A couple of puns in there as well.
Yeah, which we encourage.
We appreciate.
Given the name of the segment, I mean...
Yeah. Raw emotion.
I'm
starting, yep.
You'll get it on the way home.
Yeah.
Zachary, thanks for your message and thanks for wearing your Tigers kit out in public in Newtown. As we say, now we're taking over Bondi, we're taking over Newtown. There is a bit of a movement here with the very proud club, the West Tigers.
Very true.
All right, next one comes in from Finn Kennedy.
Nice.
Here we go.
Hello, Finn.
4,936 days since finals, 7,111 days since the grand final. I've suffered as a Tigers fan for almost 12 years with a win percentage of approximately 33.45% and 3 wooden spoons to show for it. But no more. No more. The greatest West Tigers team of all time is brewing. Buller, Galvin, Luai, Coruscant. A premature premiership winning spine. May, Taruva and Skelton providing 10,000 metres a game. As we sit second on the live ladder, good things lay ahead.
Well summed up.
Oh my God, that
Kennedy.
got my my emotions going, my raw emotions.
I'm glad that he only went approximate with the win percentage and he didn't get too specific with it. I would have hated for him to get too bogged down in, specifically working.
Because everything else was correct. 10,000 metres per game.
Yep.
That's correct.
Yep, absolutely. Probably sold him short a couple.
Yeah, I think 33 might be a bit off. I'd say it's probably closer to 34.
Yep.
But that's a fantastic voice note.
Yep.
Really, really got the juices flowing. Really put the ink in my biro.
Ink in your biro. A modern twist on an old favourite this week.
As my winfluenza
No, I
brain
like
going
it.
a little bit wild. Finn, that was sensational. Bit David Middleton-esque with all those stats as well.
It was. And also the monotone delivery there.
The monotone.
Finn, great voice note. And on a week where I didn't think I'd be saying this, Finn's up because that was fantastic. That was really good. Now, speaking of which, Alex Donnelly, he's got a short, sharp, to the point one here, but when I heard this, I absolutely pissed myself, and I hope it'll be the same for you, boys.
Brilliant.
Sums up the sentiment of the weekend well.
Squish the fish, baby. Up the Tigers.
Has he made that
Squish
up?
the fish. I think so.
Oh, I've never heard that
I'm
before.
doing it again.
Squish the fish, baby. Up the Tigers.
You got to ask where Alex is when he's doing that. Like, has he snuck off into the spare room and by?
Alex looks like a bit of a character. He's got a big kind of like cowboy hat on in his profile pic, ordering a beer at the bar. So I like the cut of his gym.
Oh, Alex, let us know where you're from because we want to know where West Tigers fans are based.
Yep.
Zachary, Finn, Alex, let us know where you're from.
Yep.
If you're in Sydney, maybe we got enough of a stable.
Yep.
To go for a beer.
Absolutely.
Who knows?
We've got a good little crew building here. I've got another one here. I'm looking for it. Jacob Langley. I can't seem to. Oh, here we go. Langers.
Langley.
Got him here.
Go Langers.
Have you ever seen Robbie Farah and Talon De Silva in the same room? Because you can't. They are the same person. What a win. Jareem was solid at the back. Lockie had a few errors, but he backed it up. Came clutch when it mattered. And, boys. I tell you what, it might only be early in the year, but I've already booked my flights. I live in Melbourne. I booked my flights to Sydney. We go in the grand final. Jerome's going to lift that trophy over Nathan and says, Daddy's home.
Yes, Langers.
I love it. Some great West Tigers fans over the years have come from Melbourne to Sydney. Langers. Well,
Oh, okay.
not important who.
Yeah,
the list goes on, I'm sure. But Langers, good proactive supporting of your team there because, look, I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but all signs would point to playing on that first weekend in October.
I can't see us not.
Yeah. Tell me how we don't from here.
Well, I've looked at the draw and like I said in my in that random voice note last week of
Yes.
someone else that had winfluenza.
Yeah.
I can't see us losing another game.
Yeah.
So Langers, rightfully well done in booking those flights because, we'll see you there.
Yeah. They do gouge late towards the point of the season airlines.
And they'll be after the Tigers fans that live in Melbourne. So just
they are literally dead people walking the Tigers fans out of Melbourne. So hopefully if there's any other Tigers fans in Melbourne, I'd encourage you to have a quick look at those flights now.
Yep.
Rather than
jump on with
I hate
Langers.
to see you leave it too late is all I'm saying.
On the plane.
All right, one more here from Tom Brown.
Tom Brown, friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
Yep.
The pioneer of the Say Barge and a favourite here on Raw Emotion.
Let's go, Brownie.
Boys, let me tell you a story about the pot of dolphins that swam upstream and went head to head with a say barge fueled on pure emotion. I'm sure you know how it ends. Again, we win. No more learning, only winning. Maybe a draw or two, we'll see. Up the West Tigers till I die. 2-0, 4-0. Let's bloody go. Love you, boys.
Bit of love for the Leichhardt postcode there as well, which we love.
Yeah, he doubled down on that because he went there last week. Maybe he's from Leichhardt. Maybe he's an inner Westie.
Yep.
Brownie, love your stuff as always. I don't know if Alex Seyfarth is paying you to be his PR manager or something, but you're definitely getting him plenty of coverage as the Say-Barge. So really good voice note once again. Back to back. If you could send one in every week, we'd be happy, I reckon. 'cause
Absolutely.
He's a talent.
Back fence Brown.
Yeah.
We got rid of Nathan so we could accommodate Tom. And
That's right.
I'm happy with the decision.
Do you know what, Hammy?
What?
That's the best Raw Emotion segment I've ever heard.
Yeah, and the bar's been very high every week.
Totally.
Keep them coming, folks. Best way to do it, just voice note, win, learn, or draw pod on Instagram. Get on there. We want to hear from as many people as we can. Loving the seg though. Probably one of my favourite ones of the show. Just hearing, people getting around the boys.
Yeah, it's so refreshing to hear all these Tigers fans. And I think even if we had a lesson, if we did learn, there'd be just as many sending
Absolutely.
through with that positivity that we're hearing.
Which we love.
Yeah, that's what we want.
Keep it coming. Keep it coming, folks.
There we go. Raw emotion. We might need to get a sponsor on that, I think.
Yeah.
Let's have a think.
Wokka Noodles. Hey, best wet noodle in Australia.
Well, apparently number one wet noodle in Australia. So I've not had any other wet noodles. So have you?
You need to get out more, mate, because you're missing out. It's a great product, but none better than Wokka Noodles. Reach out. DMs are open.
Let's jump into next week's game against the Wars. Now, I just want to start by saying I have the utmost respect for the Wars and their fan base and what they've done for the international expansion of rugby league.
Yep.
But don't come to Campbelltown thinking you're going to win, please. It's called the graveyard for a reason.
Yep.
Might be because the Tigers have only won about 16% of their games there.
Yep.
But it also could be because we're going to beat you.
Yeah.
So don't come across the ditch thinking that you're going to do something to us on Sunday at night, because I'm sensing, Hammy,
Yep.
Tigers 1-12.
Yeah, I hope so. Just having a quick look at the recent form here against the Warriors. They have won the last 5 between the sides. We haven't beaten them since 2020, I believe. So,
Yeah, but what a win that was.
we're due.
Yeah.
is fair to say. Out of the 9th wonder of the world.
Yep.
It is. Last year it did become a bit of a fortress, with the exception of Spoon Bowl, where we lost by 60, and this year where we lost by 2. But we did win a lot of our games there last year. The percentage went up quite a bit, and this is the Wade McKinnon Cup. This means a lot to both clubs. So
what
there's
a
a little
player.
bit more on the line.
Yep.
I think, in fact, Wade McKinnon famously got sent off against the Warriors at the 9th wonder of the world. I was at that game in 2000 and I want to say 9 or 10.
Yeah. That was around Wade O'Mackey era.
Yeah. What a time to be alive. But look, I'm very confident this week. The Warriors, all I can assess them on is the data we've seen this year alone. Yes, they've won their last 2, but every time they haven't played in New Zealand, Vegas, they've stunk the joint up.
Yep.
So I'm confident. I think when you look at us, man for man, I reckon we got them covered. I really do.
Yeah.
Their pack's been a big strength for them, but the way that our JFTA Petrochemicals engine room's been playing, very confident there. I think we got them covered in the halves. I feel like they lack a bit of clarity in that part of the ground as well.
Well, Metcalf's pretty hot and cold, isn't he? He's gone cold, hot, cold. He went real hot for 1 week.
And you know what? He's due for a hot one if the trend is anything to go by.
No. It goes cold, hot, cold, cold. Hot.
Yeah, okay,
That's
cool.
Metcalf's anyway.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know.
That's how I envision him.
Yep.
Chino Tavita, handy player.
Yep.
Mad respect for him as well, because he took a year off to go backpacking.
Yes. Yep.
How good's that? But I don't think they match Luai and Galvin.
No.
As far as skill and ability. And like you said, we can make Campbelltown a fortress.
Yep.
We've done it with Leichhardt. Like, why can't we do it out there? We're getting crowds. We had 13.5 there round 1. Let's get that up closer to 20. Sunday Arvo.
Yep.
Sunday night.
Sunday
daylight
evening.
saving still kicking around.
Nip into the Leagues Club, have a little schnitty pre-game, watch the 4:00 game, and then wander down onto the north or the south hill.
Yep.
And fill it up.
Yeah, it's important that we try and fill that stadium and make it a fortress.
Fill the hill.
Fill the hill and the seats.
And the seats as well.
Yep.
But for the
Bum
sake of
seats.
the hashtag, fill the hill, just,
Fill the hill is probably easier.
Yeah.
Makes more sense. I think our forward pack is going to be up against it.
Yep, that will be tough.
Which we
Barnett,
know
Fish.
that happens. Squish the fish.
Squish the fish.
Maybe we could squish the fish round
we
2.
heard it in Raw. Yeah, exactly. There you go. If I'm Benji, this week I'm keeping the messaging simple to the JFTA Petrochemical Services engine room. Squish the fish. All right? It's not rocket science. That's your task. And probably similar approach to Mitch Barnett, but I can't think of a crisp
neither.
Turn of phrase.
Squish the Barnett.
Squish the Mitch, maybe.
Oh, that's a bit better.
Yeah,
Yep,
kind of.
Yep. That's why you're in content and I'm not.
Yeah.
I think across the park we probably have them covered. I think you're right. Being away from home, they're not comfortable.
Yep.
They haven't travelled to Australia yet. This is their first travel across the ditch. So, look, they're a danger team. They always are, considering they haven't We haven't beaten them since 2020. That's
Yep.
obviously danger signs as well.
2020 vision, baby.
We're a different team, Hammy.
Completely
We're not the
different
team in 2021, 22, 23, 24.
We've said it before on this show, and we'll say it again many times. The windscreen is far bigger than the rear vision mirror at the West Tigers. So let's look forwards.
In most cars too.
In most cars,
Yep.
it's science. Checks out. So
Yep.
as we look ahead, 6:15 p.m. Sunday, I'm filled with confidence, and I'm with you. As you know, I'm going to go with our favourite method of victory here on Win, Learn or Draw, and that is West Tigers 1-12.
West Tigers 1-12, which look, people might think that we're kind of stealing Hello Sports
No.
Manly 13 plus, but that's wrong.
Completely different.
Because they do 13 plus.
Didn't you hear? I said 1-12. Said 1-12. Check the tapes. Rewind.
West Tigers 1-12. You heard it here first. Hammy, I reckon that'll about do us for episode 4
Yep.
of the Win, Learn or Draw podcast. Tigers never lose. They win or they learn.
Correct.
Thanks for coming on and being a stalwart of the show. 4 in a row for you.
Yeah.
Penrith-esque.
Yeah.
I had a
Hopefully
week-
not Spoon-esque for us, but well done to you as well. Coming back from even suffering more winfluenza this week. You've been
I'm
fantastic.
immune now, though.
Yep.
So I reckon 25 more weeks of winfluenza
Absolutely.
and I'll be fine.
Welcome
So,
back, baby. Well, great hit out. Another great show. And top 16, here we come.
See you guys.